Okay, we good to go?
Are we live, Aniko?
Yes.
Thank you. We're ready.
Okay, very good. I'd like to call the Budget and Finance Committee meeting to order. If we could please have a roll call of all committee members.
Freeman,
Aye.
Homobian,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Baylor,
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
All committee members are present.
Thank you very, very much. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes from our previous meeting? If I could have a motion, please.
So move.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion and
Ditto.
a second. All in favor, please let it be known by saying aye.
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 All right, very good. We have three items to come before us today. The first item is an ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to apply for, accept, and enter into a cooperative agreement between the city and the Ohio Water Development Authority for the refinancing of the city's outstanding $22,100,000 waterworks system mortgage revenue improvement bonds, Series 2009, the proceeds of which were used for the purpose of refunding water revenue bonds previously issued by the city in 1996 and 1998 to finance and refinance improvements to the city's municipal water supply and declaring an emergency. Mr. Fricker, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So as the legislation states, this is an opportunity for us to refinance some water bonds that we issued back in 2009. The state passed some legislation earlier this year that allowed us to actually use Ohio Water Development Authority bonds to refinance bonds. Previously, they were only available to finance new projects, but now it allows us to actually refinance some of our older debt. So we're going to refinance about $6.9 million in water bonds. Those bonds, we were previously paying a coupon of between 4% and 5% on those bonds, and this will allow us to pay an interest rate of about 0.85%. So total savings for over the life of the bonds is about $1.8 million.
Excellent. If the rate gets much lower, they'll have to be paying us money. So, all right, very good. I would like to open it up to any questions. We'll begin with the committee members, and then we'll extend that on out to any council members that may have questions. So looking for any hands, Mr. Malik.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Mr. Fricker, for the information. This extends the life of the bonds by 12 years. Is that correct?
It doesn't really extend the life of the bonds. So this is refund. The 09 bonds went out to 2033. So it's not extending the useful lives on any of the projects that we refinanced. So it just goes out to the original final maturity of the original bonds. Correct. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. But it is 12 years from today, right?
Correct. 2033, these expire is.
Thank you very much.
Very good. Good question. Thank you. Any other questions? Sarah, help me out here if I'm missing anyone.
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay, good. Well, Steve, this is, as always, this is good news. Save ourselves some money. What would be your pleasure on this, Mr. Fricker?
Consent agenda is fine.
Okay, very good. Looking for a motion for consent?
Motion for consent.
Second.
And we have a motion and a second. All in favor of placing this item on the consent agenda, please let it be known by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Very good. We will see that this item is placed upon the consent agenda. Next, we have a resolution requesting that the Summit County Fiscal Officer make an advance payment of tax funds for the year 2021 payable in 2022 to the City of Akron Treasury Division and declaring an emergency. Mr. Fricker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is an annual piece of legislation. There are two pieces that go with our annual property tax levy. This first one allows us to get advance payments from the county as they collect the property taxes. So the county requires that all of its municipalities pass this ordinance in order to receive those advance payments. So it just allows us to to collect the money that the county is receiving as it comes in, instead of having to wait for all of the payments to be made.
Very good. This is nothing out of the ordinary. This
Passes
is
every year, correct?
correct. Okay. Questions or comments? Looking around. Mr. Malik.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is obviously property tax, but relatedly, I think we had been receiving the income tax numbers monthly, and I haven't seen them for a while. Can we make sure that we're receiving those again?
We will get those submitted to council, yes.
Okay, and where are we currently with?
So our last update, we were up about 10%. Now, as I think, as I stated last time when we had an update, some of that is due to timing and the differences in timing between this year and last year. So while it is encouraging that we're up quite a bit, you know, a good portion of that is just due to the timing of collections last year. So things should normalize here in the next month or two, and that'll give us a good picture of where we really are in comparison with 2020.
Okay, thank you.
And for those of you who can't see, Ricker has a huge smile behind his stoic look on his face there. So, Steve, what would be the pleasure here? Would this be consent, or would you want to pass this immediately?
If we could pass this tonight, I think that would be helpful.
Okay, then. So I would be looking for a motion for suspension of the rules and issue a favorable report.
Make that motion for suspension of the rules and a
Second.
favorable report.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of suspension of the rules, please let it be known by saying aye.
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 Very good. Thank you. We will pass this out this evening. And then next is an ordinance accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission of Summit County, and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the Summit County Fiscal Officer and declaring an emergency. Mr. Fricker.
So this is our annual certification of our inside millage for the city's property tax. So it continues to be 10.5%. That has not changed in several years. We typically collect about $31 million in income tax, or I'm sorry, in property tax revenues.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Questions or comments? Okay, I do not see any hands. Again, Mr. Fricker, your pleasure would be?
Suspension of the rules on this one.
Okay. So looking
So
for a
moved.
we have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor, please let it be known by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, very good. And with that, I believe we just had the three items, and we will call the meeting to a close at 3:08 p.m. Thank you, each and every one of you.
Thank you.
Our next committee meeting today will be the Reimagining Public Safety Committee, and that will begin at 3:30. We can stop the live stream and come back at 3:30. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.